What's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another recap of The Shy, which I like to call The Shy Talk because I don't talk about everything, just some of the highlights that happened in the episode. This is season 5, episode 2, entitled Oh Girl. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if that's what you choose to do, and we're going to get right into this thing. So the show opens up with Tracy, Duda, and Q. And honestly, I just want Q to go back to wherever he came from. Wherever he was, take his ass back. I don't like his energy at all. Long story short, Tracy is not feeling him, but she finds out some important information regarding politics. The politicians and the police are just the pawns. It is the gangs who are running the city. And so Tracy's concern is that she doesn't want Q coming in and messing up what she feels she has created at the center and the things that they're doing for the community. She finds out that Q has been a silent partner when it comes to Duda, but he ain't trying to be silent anymore. And the people of Chicago want Trig to run for city council. He's a bit taken aback that the people will want him in that capacity. But I don't know why he was surprised, because he's definitely making his mark in the community. He's definitely changed his life and is being, just like a mentor to a lot of the young men. And even though he's torn with the idea, he knows that he needs to get his record cleared, which is not going to be an easy feat. So Tracy reaches out to Duda in that area to handle that. In addition, she's trying to get some too. And I'm like, Tracy, you playing with fire. Duda is not the one for you. Duda is not the person that you should be. I understand what she's trying to do when it comes to helping Trig, but it's also helping herself too in more than one ways, sexually and professionally, because you know what I'm saying, she still wants to keep what she has going on at the center. And so we find out, which we knew a long time ago, that Trig's name is Victor. He goes to see Marcus. And, he basically tells him the same thing. He needs to get his record clear. And, Trig is not too comfortable with dealing with Duda. And I don't blame him at all. So, and this is not in any particular order. I'm kind of grouping everything together just so y'all know how I'm going to be doing these. So we get to Tiffany, Rob, and Emmett. And this entire situation is a hot ass mess. Tiffany has lost her damn mind. Even though I like her, she's lost her damn mind. She tells Emmett that EJ is starting a new school and must be picked up by 4. This girl has added Rob to EJ's pickup information. She barely knows the man and is allowing him to pick up her son from school, a man that EJ doesn't know either. And I'm like, Tiffany, what the hell is going on with you? Like, Tiffany is not a teenager. Yes, Tiffany is a young mom, but I'm like, come on, like, Rob may seem like a cool person, and he really does. He really does. But I'm like, you just doing a little too much, sis, and I definitely can't get down with that. So there was a really cute scene where Emmett had his 3 sons over, and EJ started hitting his brothers. And so Emmett tells him to stop hitting his brothers before he hits him. And EJ says, Mommy says you can't hit me. And so Emmett responds with, I'm your daddy. EJ says, only on the weekends. I was like, what in the entire hell? So it is obvious that EJ is involved in too many adult conversations. So Tiffany tells Emmett that she's living with Rob and that he's cool, and Emmett was, concerned because he's like, I don't want you having, these random ass dudes around my son. And she was like, he's not random. And the definition that she gave for him, I'm like, Tiffany, that's random, sis. That's random. But I'm going to get off that. So with Rob, Rob and Tiffany was having a conversation, and he tells her that he understands why Emmett was, mad, and that he would be mad too. And that he's not with the open situation. He believes in monogamy. And even though I did like that, I wasn't fond of him telling her that her softest place on earth belongs to him. She let it be known that it belongs to her. And I was like, that's right, Tiff. Don't have these men think, and nothing on your body belongs to anyone else. And so Emmett is at work, and he's taking an order, and he forgets to pick up his son. So he's running late. That's how we find out that Rob was added to the list to pick EJ up, because that's what the teacher tells Emmett when he arrives to pick up his son. I would have went slap off on Tiffany, which Emmett did. Then Tiffany tells Emmett that she was busy. I'm like, girl, you're not doing nothing. You're literally in Keisha's dorm room. You could have took your happy ass up there to get your child. I don't even have no words for that. Tiffany is on one right now. Just as a mom, yeah, her mind could be all over the place emotionally, so-and-so, all of that. But when you are a parent, you cannot afford to do careless things like that. That's how things happen to children all the time. I'm just like, and of course, it had a lot of fans in the uproar, but the reality is this definitely does happen. So Keisha tells Tiffany to go easy on Emmett. And Tiffany was like, girl, F him. So again, we see Keisha showing some compassion towards Emmett. All of this is for the romantic reunion that is definitely on the horizon. I want to like it because even though they were young and just Emmett was definitely not a matured version of himself, I actually did like the dynamic between Emmett and Keisha. I even like the fact that Emmett and Keisha always remained friends, and they do have a special bond between each other. But I love the friendship between Tiffany and Keisha. I think it's so needed. And I'm like, just to know that this thing might happen with Emmett and Keisha, I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm like, it's going to ruin everything. It's going to ruin everything. So I don't know how I feel about that. And especially when you see how encouraging and motivating that Tiffany is toward Keisha being in school, and Tiffany tells her that she didn't get the opportunity to do that. And she's glad that she is doing what she's doing. And, it's just great to see. And so, they do go out. Keisha tells her, well, I'm going to school for both of us. And so Tiffany, being Tiffany, was like, well, make sure you F about 4 college dudes. You know what I'm saying? I said, leave it to her. Leave it to this child. But they go out. They have a good time. And it's always great seeing a smile on Keisha's face after everything that she's been through. So the Breakfast Club, we see all of them walking into school. And Papa is really on one, because people are still coming for him for the shot that he took towards Jake and many other students at the school at the pep rally. So at this point, he has not given a real apology. So they noticed that Jake didn't, take Gemma to school. And Jake was completely oblivious to the distance that Gemma has put between them. Of course, Lene and Maisha knew what was up. And so Kevin and Lene have video game equipment in their book bags, and they get sent to the office when they go through the metal detectors, because they're not supposed to have that. So Jake is texting Gemma, and she lets him know that they need to talk. So he gets called out of class to go to the principal's office, and is thoroughly surprised when he sees his mom. Of course, everybody else is surprised too. She's been gone, forever and a day. And where the hell you been? Like, that's why I'm like, where the hell you been? Like, you just pop up, like, I'm finna take you out of school. And he's like, you need to talk to Trig. She's like, why I need to do that? And he lets her know, because he's my legal guardian. She says, well, I'm your mother. And he looks over at the lady at the office, and she's like, well, her name is still on your paperwork to pick you up. I said, see, if this episode didn't teach anybody anything, please let it be a warning that you make sure you are fully aware who's able to pick up your kids. A mother or no mother, we know that Peaches was, on them drugs badly, and she just pops up out of nowhere to pull Jake out of school. Like, I understood she wanted to see her baby, and I get all that. But when you're not in a good place, it's some really terrible people out there who do have access to children. Let this be a warning. Give your kids like a password or something. And if that person picking them up does not know the password, then you can't get my kid ain't going with you, period. It was very uncomfortable, even though, what I'm saying, I did get it, whatever. So Kevin. So once they talk to I don't know what she was, the principal, guidance counselor, or whatever, they want to start a game group at school. So one of the teachers came in and basically he vouched for them and said that if they could get 5 students to join, that he would basically sponsor them or be their chaperone or whatever the hell they needed for them to have a group at school. So when they're in class, they're talking about NFTs and all of that, and one of the young ladies in the class has made her first sale. And so Kevin is like just gazing at this girl. Her name is Simone, and we find out that Simone is the girl that Kevin danced with at Maisha's party that Papa threw for her last season. So when it was over, you know, he walks up to her and tells her congrats. And she was basically like, you know, he was like, I'm Kevin. She was like, yeah, I know. And she remembered the dance. And she was like, do you believe that life exists in outer space? And he like, yeah, I guess. And so she was like, you want to look at the moon sometime? And he's like, sure. And she was like, oh, just to let you know, I only text in emojis. And my response was that of Kevin. So I'm like, what? Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? Like, people don't use words, they just use emojis? Okay, you know, that's different. I know they are a lot younger than I am, but I don't understand that concept. I don't understand that concept at all. So later on, we see that the Papa does give a sincere apology, even though he does still take a jab at Jake. He kind of cleans it up, and I think that, you know, we're kind of seeing this different side of Papa emerging. I don't know if I'm gonna like it too much, because Papa, like I said, if you listen to my last review, like, Papa does things, then he like to use church and Jesus and the Bible to kind of justify the nastiness that he does. I don't really like that, but I mean, hell, look who his dad is. It makes perfect sense to why Papa is the way that he is. So we get to Nina, Dre, Tracy, and Jada, and they're having like a ladies day or something. And Jada tells the ladies that she kissed Darnell. Dre isn't here for it. Dre is completely opposed to that happening. And so Nina, honestly, I don't know how I feel about the character of Nina. She asked Jada, like, how did this happen? And I said, how did it happen? Girl, you just messed around on your wife with the woman who you've only knew for probably an hour at the max. How the hell did that happen? Like, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Nina's energy is off to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the character. I don't know if it's how she played a role. I don't know. She really makes me wonder why the hell she's married in the first place. She was making little slick comments every time Dre said something. You know what I'm saying? And Jada and Tracy picked up on it. I'm just like, Jada needs to just go ahead and leave Suede alone. Because the way that she talked, they asked her like how it happened or what led up to it. She was like, I don't know. You know, one moment we were just, I said, Jada, stop, because you lying. You lying right now. You knew that you wanted to kiss or have sex with Darnell because she basically asked him, like, are your handyman services the only thing that you're basically ready to render? Like, is there anything else you want to do? So you were leading this, man, but this ain't no, you don't know how the hell this happened. So she gets a phone call from Darnell and they're FaceTiming and she's making sure she looks good and everything like that. Like, she is putting too much into this for this to be nothing. She's putting too much into this for this to be just something minor. Like, you know something is gonna happen. It's just that, you know, Suede is going to be the casualty, and I just don't want it to happen because he's such a nice guy. But Jada don't need to be messing with no damn Suede. He's a few years older than Emmett. Leave that boy the hell alone. What should have just stayed as like a sex thing after a few times, just leave it alone. It has turned into a full-blown relationship, and they talking about love and all of that. I'm like, Jada, you're the cougar. This ain't supposed to be happening. Sis, play the game. Play the game right. You ain't supposed to get caught up in the game. You're the one pulling the strings on the game. You failing, sis. You failing all the cougars out there. But anyway, so Trig, Rashad, Peaches, and Jake. So Jake and Peaches show up at the center to see Trig. Rashad was way more excited to see her than Trig, which is completely understandable. She lets him know that she needs a place to live, at least until she gets a job and save money. Trig wasn't really feeling it, but it's his mom, so, you know, he obliged. Rashad meets a young lady who comes in and I think she brings like a box of clothes or something, and he is smitten like almost automatically. They set up a date, or he tries to, get to know her or woo her just a little bit. She wasn't feeling it, especially when he was very honest about his past. Like, I'm like, damn, Rashad, I understand him being honest and being upfront, but it's like, let me know you for at least a minute before you just expose you being in jail and all of this stuff. Trig was a killer. Like, don't give me that. Don't give me that right off the top. Let me find out if I actually enjoy you as a person just a little bit, bruh, before you start exposing, all this stuff. But, he was able to woo her. He did a little song by Luther Vandross. And, they set up a date. And but let's not get it twisted. Jason Weaver, who portrays Rashad, has been in the game for a long time. He played Michael Jackson in The Jackson's American Dream. To all the young ones and to the ones who just don't know, he is young Simba in The Lion King, who sings all your favorite songs, Hakuna Matata and I Just Can't Wait to Be King. That's him. So we're gonna put some respect on Jason Weaver's name, because he has been in this business since he was a little boy. And to all the day ones, for real, we remember him when he played in the show Theo with Brandy. Brandy played his older sister. So, he's been in the game for a long time, and I just, I love to see that, because it makes my childhood, the child within me, like, really happy to see these people who were so vital in my childhood, who still rocking it and who are relevant now. Damn, can hardly talk. Relevant now. So we're going to put some respect on his name. So anyway, he has the date. She comes over. He cooks for her. And it's a really sweet moment. And, she asked him, I think he bought some Moscato, and she was like, she didn't drink that. And so she asked him, had he ever been to a wine tasting? And he was like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but like, what exactly happens at a wine tasting? And I love the fact that he answered that question. He doesn't have any pride when it comes to, if it's something I don't know, I'm going to ask. And I really love that about his character. And it was just a sweet, sweet moment between them. So we get to Jake and Gemma, and they squashed the misunderstanding that existed between them. First he was like, I effed up. And she was like, you care to elaborate? Like, what you mean you effed up? Because effed up mean a lot of things. More than likely, effed up mean you done cheated. You done did something like that. And, she lets him know that she's sorry about Imani leaving, and that she's happy his mom is back. And so Jake begins to rap one of Method Man's verses from All I Need, and it was cute. And I'm sorry, not sorry, I like Jake and Gemma. You know what I'm saying? I know people have a lot of issues about how they actually became a couple, and I told y'all I could relate to it, because this is literally like what happened to me, or what I did when I was their age. It's a crazy story. I think I've shared it. If not, maybe I'll do it some other time. But it is literally a replica of what happened, almost to the T. You know what I'm saying? It was a jacked up situation. But I get it, and I do like them, because these are the things that happen when you young. And I like the fact on last episode when Marcus told her, that your kids, you're kind of just trying things out on each other, and you know what not to do. You know when things are jacked up, and you know how to maneuver, and hopefully that doesn't become your pattern as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So I like them together. So Rashad barges in on them as they're sharing a kiss, and he tells them that they're trying to eat. And so they come out of the room where Gemma meets Jake's mom for the first time. They sit down, say grace, and they proceed to eat, which was funny because Rashad rushed the hell out of that grace because he was hungry. So Tracy, Duda, and Trig is just not fond of Duda being back, especially the reason why he left in the first place. And so for Trig to get on this campaign as this politician he's trying to be, it's weird because he has to create a narrative of his life that's a lie, that is not true. He has to have this fake girlfriend, this fake story. It's just not him. You know what I'm saying? It's just not him. And then, running for city council it's like, yeah, it may not be you, but you have to give the people what they want. You have to give the people something that they're willing to buy into. And Trig is just not feeling it like that. So he meets this young lady who is quote unquote Duda's niece. She comes down, very beautiful girl. And, you know, I think Trig liked what he saw, but not to the point of him operating or functioning within a lie. He just wasn't feeling that, you know, at all. And Tracy definitely wants to keep the center, and it's a benefit to her as well, you know, to get Trig to run. And I don't know, I know a lot of fans were not or are not feeling Tracy like that this season. I don't really get that vibe just yet. I do believe Tracy is out for herself in the sense of she wants to keep her son's memory alive. I think that's the most important thing to her. I just think the way that she maneuvers it, it doesn't paint her in the best light. So Emmett decides that he's going to be celibate. He's listening to this guy by the name of Master Marshawn, who is Lord, you know, who was played by D-Ray. And it's so funny to me because Master Marshawn strikes me as the type of person who talks a good game, but he isn't doing any of what he preaches. That's the vibe I get from him. Like, he talking about, you know, no masturbating, no having sex, but I'm like, you strike me as a type who beat your meat every day, sir. So, or you sliding up in some. So I feel like he's a fraud, but you know, he speaks well enough to captivate viewers. So I'm gonna see if Emmett, I don't know if Emmett could be celibate, just to be honest, but this is a new Emmett that we're dealing with. And I honestly want him, I want him to surprise all of us. I want Emmett to be successful at being celibate, but we gonna see. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode, another video of the Shy Talk. Hopefully you enjoy it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you want to talk about something that I didn't mention in the video, make sure you put it in the comments, and I will holler at y'all later. When?